Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth with World's Cup of Joe, Awaken Your Soul. Today I want to talk about releasing the fear of losing your twin flame. When I first met my twin flame, immediately I was overwhelmed with a fear of losing him in some way. Like I just met this person and suddenly there's this like suffocation of, what if he stops talking to me? What if I don't see him? What if I never get to meet him in person? There was all these fears that the mind brought to me. And in these fears, there was this urgency in needing to meet him in person. We met online and we had been communicating via phone and text message for the first month that we knew each other. But there was this deep, intense fear, which I now know was just energy. And not just energy, but extremely addictive energy. And it was literally haunting my every waking moment. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. This energy was so activated, and this fear was just inundating me. I'd wake up in my sleep if I did fall asleep, and I would constantly check my phone for seeing if he had sent me a new message. And if I didn't have one, my pulse, it would feel like it wanted to pound out of my chest, right? And it wasn't easy to calm these fears down. I was in what felt like a constant state of panic and anxiety, and it all stemmed from this fear of losing the energy of this man that had entered my life, yet I didn't realize at the time it was energy. And it was like, I couldn't imagine living without him. I hadn't even met him in person, and I couldn't imagine living without him. It was intense. It was painful. I felt like an addict living off of the hits from one text message to the next. And that was what would get me through my days, is like, okay, every 2 hours he would text and I felt like I could breathe again. And then I'd wait for that next text, or, as us addicts like to say, that next hit. And he was my biggest addiction. And we met way before I understood what this connection was. I had no idea that this was the start of my spiritual awakening. In fact, I was now in so much emotional and physical torment, despite loving him in such an extreme way, that I felt an overwhelming disconnect to life as I had known it. I had attached myself to needing him in the physical, and that attachment overtook everything else in my life. My relationships with everyone around me started to suffer. I became very isolated. I wouldn't leave my bedroom for any lengths of time, just because all I wanted to do was either be in a place of solitude so I could think about him, or have privacy away from everyone else when I was talking to him. Less than 2 months of meeting him, he moved to the state I was in to live with me. Now, him being at my house day in, day out with me, many of you would listen to this and be like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. But it really was a double-edged sword for my emotional state of being, because on one hand, it felt so good to always have him with me. But then on the other hand, the addictive energy was spiraling out of control, and I had this intense fear that he could leave me at any moment. I constantly worried, and it was like this phrase over and over in my head: what if he breaks me? What if he breaks me? How could I live if he ever left me? How could I keep going on when I loved someone so much? Now, this quote by Savannah Arienta: attaching to the physical brings on fears of loss, because it can all be taken away, and nothing eats up the spirit like living a fear-based life. When we attach to the physical of our twin flame, to their bodies, to needing to have them in front of us, the mind sees them as separate, but they aren't. They are our soul. They share a soul with us, and therefore they are always with us and connected to us. But when the mind sees them as separate, it brings on a fear of needing them more in the physical in order to continue to feel the oneness that we already are. And it leaves us perpetually seeking out the physical of them, which is push. It is push energy when we need that. How do you desire and need what you already are? You can't, and that's why it's push energy. The fear of loss of the physical can be so overwhelming for the mind to comprehend and reconcile. And that is why the seeming, not reality, but the seeming loss of them when separation occurs brings on a dark night. The mind cannot process this loss, and it creates a sense of disconnect from the world we live in. Again, Orienta's quote, "When you come to understand that all things can be taken from you, it is a sudden shock. You have to take safe haven, going inward to reach for your spiritual self to guide you out of the darkness." This is why your awakening starts. This is how your awakening starts, through the catalyst that is your other self, your twin flame. Through your awakening, you will have to learn how to transition from the separation consciousness of the mind and feel your way into a place of unity consciousness. It is in this state that you know and feel your connectedness, and know that it's beyond what the mind could ever comprehend through logic. It is the oneness of who you are, and it is why your person has impacted you more than anyone else you've ever met in your life. It is why your whole life has shifted since meeting them. It is the inner knowing that they are you, and the love goes beyond the finite nature of human existence. It is in this state that the need for the physical will dissipate, and the love and wholeness that is you will radiate the energy to them that is needed for them to find their way back to you. The fear of losing them gets replaced with the love that is you, the love that is soul, the love that is you both. I hope this message has helped. Love you guys.